So yesterday we were talking about infiltration of governments, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and how to do it. And
Yeah.
we were discussing different things about, we were using CIA, not that they would do this, it's just
Mm-hmm.
the example, which then leads on to something else, right? If they wanted to infiltrate another nation, and it can also be our nation do this to other nations too, yes? Usually this is what happens, and that's espionage perhaps, where you might be able to know a strong candidate for politics, yes,
Mm-hmm.
which creates massive change, yes,
Mm-hmm.
real change, not artificial change, slogan
Yeah.
change, real change, big impact as
Mm-hmm.
well. And I use myself as the example in that if I was to go into politics and different things like that. So when kids grow up and they're disruptive and they create change, right? Because there's been enough on geniuses as to go along the way and also impactful leaders. Perhaps, when you've studied hierarchies of ancient times, you'll understand that it's got nothing to do with who's on a stage somewhere. It's actually certain types of people have a certain type of frequency and they emit a frequency which causes people to stand back, stop, look, and think, I want to get behind that. I love this. This is brilliant. So what have you got? You could say, we're just using CIA as the example, and I'm going to shift. Not because I think the CIA are doing this, but the potential is they could do this. But whether they do or don't is another story entirely. The part I want is the shift moment. But in order to do that, I've got to go backwards into this because most people understand this side of it. Anyway, so let's take Farage and myself, for argument's sake. It's just whatever. If I just put Nigel and then I put T, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if Nigel was more able to be bent at the knee, be
Yeah.
able to kick down sort of thing, and again, you need papers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because paper is perception, right? You can really influence people's perception by what they see, what they read,
Mm-hmm.
and then they begin to believe it. We're going to fix this, we're going to fix that, we're going to fix this. How?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to fix that? Well, we need to be quiet about that because, and in order for this person to go in, because they're going to keep things the same structure, same following, same order, same outcome. That's usually the way it is. But yet, if you're more impactful and you won't bend at the knee, you won't sell out, you love your allies, but you want to work with them, not for them. That's the part of that. Now, this person will keep things the same, therefore may uplift, so have an agenda. Now, I'm going to shift again on this one because CIA, it doesn't feel like that. But again, we understand espionage in this way, that then this would then become a proxy government.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah.
That would then be able to pull levers, pull strings, and perhaps this would then be able to control the nation or keep it stagnant is another approach, right? It's not true with the CIA because when you look at their nation as well, it's very reverse that. So the word same comes in a lot. And anyway, so therefore you can control a nation
Mm-hmm.
by just controlling one leader. And then this surrounds with infiltration and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
People's minds. But yeah, if somebody else is going to create strong change and a massive impact to people's lives, that does not keep things the same. That will not enter into the papers. Now let's shift from this. Let's take councils here. Usually these individuals create problems so that they have a purpose. So environmental health. Create a problem in order to, oh, yes, I'll come and fix that for you. They also store a lot of records on you, have you noticed that? Now, records might be kept for a good reason and also can be kept for a wrong reason. So let's remove the CIA for a second, because here's the shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you infiltrate one particular government. Now, let's put in buses, business.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put in businesses. And again, is he going to keep things the same? Do they have money?
Yeah.
Could all business owners get together and put money into a secret club somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Could they also then pay to infiltrate?
Yeah.
This can be things among things like neighbors and different things like that. Also, if they infiltrate, can they also see records?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can they see these records in with the council? And the council might want this sameness. Well, if you protect us, which then keeps us the same, the councils are broken, we're going to fix it. It's already fixed. You don't need no more fixes in that. That is rigged like a motherfucker, isn't it? But you're going to keep things the same. Again, do they have power in paper? The answer is yes. Have you seen the way that councils will often shame people for doing certain things? And also they have the power to go around and also lift up businesses, yes?
Yeah.
So this becomes bending the knee, but it becomes two ways, right? The knee can be bent this way and the knee can be bent this way. There's no way that they're ever... The leverage over Nigel can be that we will rat you out. That's 25 years in prison for infiltrating a government. Mm-hmm. So that's leverage. This is leverage, equally leverage among each other. Why would it keep things the same? Would be beneficial for businesses? Or because you make more of this, or councils, then they don't have to change anything, or they have to keep living in this, and let's look at all of these problems that are never going to go away because they haven't. Since the invention of all of these things, you've created more and more problems. Do you follow that sort of path? Anyway, so with records, if they have access to records and you've ever wrote to the council and you've told them, how did it make you feel? How did this, and this? And then our councils infiltrated into school records,
Mm-hmm.
which could be a county council, yes? So there's more records there, right? Mm-hmm. Even home espionage, right? So we often look at espionage as it being infiltrating a government. Mm-hmm. But what about these same forces infiltrating your life in order to stop this stuff from happening? So we looked at the CIA, okay? Now we looked at businesses, yeah? What about MI5? Maybe they have orders that they don't want to create changes anywhere and they want to keep things the same because it keeps the, intelligence groups in a new society will have more change to do, basically. They will have to navigate how they protect this infrastructure. So by and large, an intelligence group is then who pays them, as to then what do they do, as to then how they operate, yes? And some will be strong and want this change, and others perhaps don't want it because they've got comfortable and complacent in a life that maybe rewards them, but if everybody else suffers, it doesn't really matter. Now, I'm not saying that they do this, but you got to look at it yourself. Now, this is outside of you. This is looking outside, and it's very touch upon it. Now look in your own life. With all of these records that were meant to be beneficial for you now become detrimental to you. How do they come detrimental? How did it make you feel? Why would you ask that question? You know, in antisocial behaviours, I've been surrounded by it most of my life, to be honest. And is that because of a record that then indicates, because there's two types of records. When you get a record about someone, easily led, you know what, let's stick him in a hostel. And then you see the reaction after I gave a reaction. So I went quiet yesterday, which I didn't. It just appeared like that. But the day before, I was talking about saffron, and then there was a massive explosion here. Now, if I cast you back to the recording of her saying that the rich always pick on our lot, yeah, which is probably the building opposite. Now, when you understand that, now, that is, if you remember the back from the last recording, these seeds, now with established behaviour and patterns. I'm so grateful I have a really good neighbour. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And that's another recording. They say that you can't prove this stuff. Yes, you can. You've just got to be patient with it. And you have to record a lot of stuff. And slowly but surely, the patterns then no longer look circumstantial. They're evidence-based. And then you might say that the courts are corrupt. I'm not going for the courts. I'm going for public. There's a difference because public opinion, word of mouth, will change the shape of the nation. I'm never going to be relying on people like you and Saffron and everybody else to sort things out. No. I rely on myself to sort this out. Seen it, watched it, and seen it. Records get abused. When records get abused, there's two types of records. One is easily led. Then there's the second record on top of the record. oh shit, people that act like this before usually went on to create big changes. Back in our history, they made pistons. Back in our history, they made railway. Back in history, they made this, this, and this. Back in history, they did this, this, and this. The invention of railway, the invention of ships means that you are ordering in from further away. So you're ordering from Amazon. You might be ordering from Temu. Do you understand that this stuff is not good for them? It doesn't help their businesses. Look at them. They're collapsing left, right, and center. Then we move forwards with new types of structures of housing, right? Better housing, lacking of the antisocial behavior. There's literally nothing done about antisocial behavior. And I lived next door to council individuals before, right? Again, how did it make you feel? And you remember all the silly buggers that's also been recorded and documented on that, where their environmental health were making out that they were coming out, but actually weren't. Do you see how the stage is set? And you can look at that as espionage, which is infiltration of a government body, which the Labour Party has shown promise because they've shut down, and they say in X amount of years there will be no more council left. That's one step in a right direction, but at the same time, there's so much more that can be done. Beautiful things can be done. Now, how do you want this nation to be? Do you always want to be at the end of businesses? Because these businesses can also make political parties. And again, if they've infiltrated a lot of records, the ones that show promise, they're going to kick them down, and they're going to keep them down, and they're going to keep stacking weight upon them by using the records to the strong people that they've collected this data in order to look at it. And some people might look at this records to think, how can I help these people? How can I make their lives better? How can we use this data to benefit people? And some people, would you believe it or not, are paid handsomely to say, how can we destroy people? How can we make people carry lots of weight on their shoulders so that they're so focused in on this stuff that they no longer create the strong change and impact that's needed to lift up a nation? Because going to space, if you think about it, is going to destroy a lot of businesses, especially Saffron Housing. But you've got to understand that their pattern of behavior is repeatable, predictable. They're susceptible to seeds. Now, at the moment, they don't want to change, but think of all of the things that they've already said. They've indicated without indicating it that they're already, when walking around here with those, when you go back over the recording, that's why it's interesting to record everything. And never record it on a mobile phone. See, if you were to take this device here and plug this into here, this will allow you to connect to a microphone, which also connects to, and it's done wirelessly, yes? And it's sent via Bluetooth, and it's also sent into the phone. The phone has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity to it as well. This can be hacked. This is a hackable device. This means that they can manipulate data. And if you're a business, you're going to be protecting your little minions, your little fake individuals that, quite frankly, if that's intelligence, that's laughable. They might infiltrate these stuff. And also, it means that people have moved away from areas such as here, so therefore they have a high level of knowing that there is some sort of antisocial behavior, right? So in order to do that, you would then have to rely on Saffron because the power has been moved to Saffron. So it's gone from the council and then into Saffron. Now, if we think back with the recordings of the solar panels and how quick the very next day that they were sorting out that stuff, always very detrimental. And remember the phone call recording as well, that when I was speaking to pay council tax, that person was saying that government are detrimental to you and never beneficial to you. Now, if that is the government doing that, it seems really weird that they would want to stagnate over this stuff, have no power over businesses because we've got limited liability. Once walking into power, I will remove limited liability from companies. Mark my words, certain companies, other companies, that's all right, until you abuse it, and then it's gone. It's gone. If you want to take your business elsewhere, go for it, because we're planning on building new ones anyway, so it doesn't really matter what you do. Take your company, your service, whatever it is, go on, go. And therefore, if you put a higher tax levy on the product, people won't buy it. And therefore, that is control. Now, it's not a control as being reckless control. No, it then means that people make an informed choice that by default in this aspect, the space programs and different things like that then begin to become cheaper. Your products become more expensive, and it's either bend the knee and work with us or work against us, but cut off your nose despite your face. So we understand that it's gone over to Saffron, the power of antisocial behavior dealing. Never leave it with them. And if you are, especially if you're private rented and you're going through the same shite, then this might be beneficial to you as well. You want little data like this to be collected. You want objects that cannot be infiltrated via a Wi-Fi. You want objects that are small. This one can still be hacked, but again, it's quite difficult because of how far away you have to be from it. And again, it's a very small camera. This one's quite big, but there you are. This one is interesting. And also this one here. These also do not connect to the internet in any way, shape or form. To the average mind, it looks broken. This is anything but broken. And it also stores sounds, and it also stores vision, and it also works on motion sensor. Now this one is an interesting little beast here. Now I showed you, collecting data is a fascinating thing, really. And when you start to collect it, I'm not going for court opinion, I'm going for everyday people's opinion. I'm going for the people, not your corrupted, infiltrated systems such as courts where you've bought off judges, where you've done this, where you've done that. I'm going for none of those things. I'm going for what the people feel and what the people have been through. This is what causes massive change. And it will take a lot more than your fragile little structures that you've created, all by illusion. Anyway, so we were looking at this here, yes? This here is a distraction. This can be hacked and everything else, right? But you can also hack this yourself. Open it up, and it has a little tiny laptop microphone in there. Now you want the structure itself, because this can be put into many different places. And do you see how much cable you got there? No, sometimes I use a black one, sometimes I don't. And what's more, I can also record in two ways with this. So one, I can sit this up and aim it towards my back door, but I can keep the mic inside my own home. This is where the law sits. I'm allowed to record. And anything that I have which would be an inconvenience from somebody else, and remember Saffron on the recording that they stated that the ritual was picking on our lot, which is a very odd thing to say when you're looking around a property. But I already give them the seeds, and then if we look back at the records that I kept in 2011, you see how they just cannot ever let grudges go, and they have to keep growing, finding a way to make you break because they want to keep their shitty little structures that they've stolen off of the people, and then abuse all of the power that they get. That's not how it should be. People should be in more control of what they're and how they're living. And if you've put in and you're private rented and you're going through that shit, do you understand me? That is frustrating, because how much money have you just put in there? How long you roped up on a contract? Did the private landlord tell you that there was antisocial behavior? Did the Saffron Housing tell you that there was antisocial behavior? Is there any record that tells you about antisocial behavior? And directly or indirectly, right? So there's two ways to do it. You can find people with the records that they've been, so if someone's lived here or the house opposite, they would have said perhaps there's been some disagreement. Probably the same person stayed in. Now, the only reason why they've kept them in and haven't done anything about it, or maybe they have, and then the chances elapse because it's a new tenant, no. Things should never be allowed to work like that. Damage communities and everything else. Nah. So there has been documentation about all of this stuff, yeah? And there's been an absolute lack of doing anything about it. Ask yourself why. Well, there's two reasons why Saffron won't do something about that. But they got people in their properties that they don't like. Can you use it? Can you weaponize it?
Yeah.
You don't need to tell the person directly, but you do allow them to get away with a lot more, until they push people out of premises and then maybe act upon something else to say that you can't look up you're this and this and that and that, or they try and perhaps want you to be there next to the antisocial behavior because your past records, how did it make you feel? So I once learned in psychology that there was one person, and also it was Steve that told me about this, that about hammering nails into a fence. This one was done with punching a fence.
Yeah.
And every time that you were angry or felt someone had betrayed you, someone would go and hammer a nail into a fence and then pull it out. Nail in a fence, pull it out. Eventually you get this, all of that. And who did you really damage? Well, no one. Well, there's another way you can do that. Rather than hammering a nail into a fence, you can get creative. And I've got creative in 4 different ways. This one is my favorite. Combining intelligence, wit, knowledge, recording absolutely everything whilst playing naive, dumb, stupid to all of it, and letting people bang their chests like they're Tarzan swinging in a woods somewhere. And just by removing the circuit board out of this one and utilize the microphone which connects to this one, which then goes to the camera sits in the corner, watches the door so it knows that I am not slamming the door myself to trigger this and where it's all coming from. And then it's evidence-based, then cameras outside that also pick up sounds. Well, that's protect outside your property. Again, confirms timestamp with actual sound reference. Then begins to give you a much database as to what type of inconvenience, and not only what you've been through, but what other people have been through and what other people are going through and potentially could go through, all at the hands of Saffron Housing. So if this is the condition of properties that they put people in, and now I say that with all of the data that I have, if and when you become into power, you will do exactly what I ask you to do when you're told to do it. Then you don't like it, that's tough shit. That's how power works. Not playing for the short term. Oh no, I'm playing for the long term. And it means that no one else has to suffer is the bystander effects because some person acts all aggressive. I'm not going to fight you with aggression back, and I'm not going to respond to you. And the more you're going to push back, the more you're giving me. That's the beauty about that. That's how beautiful it is. And do you feel it when it hums through your veins? Play naive. People love that because they wrote a record about it. So you garner this naivety. Interesting. That's how you gain power. That's how you do it. And that's how you create change, lasting, impactful change. Because the next thing I would be looking at is whether these people are on benefits or not. And if they are, that's going to be signed into the terms and conditions. You get caught doing antisocial behaviour and you're going to lose your benefits. You're also not going to be supported. You want to go and be homeless? Off you go. You got kids in that predicament? And we'll take them. That's how it is, and we'll give them the life that you can't. You'll be banned from applying for a house for 6 months. You'll have to go through a training program of how to shut a fucking door and how to be social rather than antisocial. And there you are. And then that should be put in power people that go through this and making technology that fits this in order to make this problem completely eliminate from society. No, we don't need to pump taxes into it. And we can utilize that tax to bring about better impact and better change for people. And you know what? And it doesn't even need the courts, really, does it? Not really. But I would have it so that it goes to public opinion. That's where I think it needs to be at. And whether not down to whether Saffron are going to do something about it. No, we tried that. That doesn't work. You manipulate, you lie, and you cheat. And all of that money. And then it poses another pattern, doesn't it? Where'd you get all those houses from? And in our nation, should you be building houses like that? That's another question. Should you own them?
Yeah, exactly.
And all of you that work there?
No.
All I need to do is hit one company and the rest will stand in line. That's how it is. That's how real power works. Not this. Not this imitation. It's just all an illusion, really, isn't it? No. I'm not banging nails into a fence. No. What I'm doing is using creativity. So yeah, get thrifty with a soldering iron. In actual fact, I'll make sure that this rolls out pretty quickly. And all I need is just a little microphone attached to this, and this does all the hard work, collecting the data, and it's never infiltrated, all untouched. That's beautiful, isn't it? Poetic. But if you do it while you're recording on one of these devices, wow, they'll be hacked. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Good piece of technology, but no, it should remain analog, not wireless, because it stops infiltration then, stops manipulative individuals, because if they are bought out by businesses, they would have technology in that they would protect them, right? In order to use these as an asset. then I think it should be fair that anyone that's ever walked through that situation, who has ever lived either side of this, should be able to add in their input.
Mhm.
And if there's compensation owed, then they shall pay for it. That's the way it should be, shouldn't it? 3 strikes and you will never get a benefit again. Because why should taxpayers and hard-working individuals be lumbered with next to people like that?
Yeah.
And they pay a tax, which then pays a benefit, which then allows them to live. Why should taxpayers' money be used to create antisocial behaviour?
Mm.
That should not be allowed, and that should be axed out of our society. So it starts with the CIA, yes,
Yeah.
just because that helps you understand how espionage and infiltration works.
Mhm.
And then it moves over to businesses.
Mhm.
It moves for single businesses, and then they might start sticking people in power
Mhm.
that are lazy, because laziness is what builds their little empires, doesn't it? And Saffron, should they really have had our council houses? Again, did taxpayers get to make a vote about that?
Yeah.
They should be given back to the system, the structure. And you know what? We should make these into the very best thing that they are. You'll learn how not to abuse individuals and try and use their timidity against them and think that they're stupid, and you've heard nothing like that before. Ooh. Yeah, I bet you ain't. I bet you ain't. Because intelligence versus Tarzan,
Mm.
you know, animal behavior, we moved away from that, didn't we? This is a new type of technology, and sure, if it's inside your own home and it's causing you a disruption, and if both sides capture it at the same time, I mean, oof. Once you were piggy in the middle, and now you're the pig in the middle. Yeah? And then we've got the discrimination on top of that from Saffron, another recording that's very beautiful, isn't it? Well, if your child, when you go to mention it, if your child was going to school so that we can learn data from them, so that we can record the data and then keep them into this compliance, so that we can collect their fears from them, put it into there, say that they're easily led, say some really weird things about them. And then later on in life, if they start to have potential of becoming something in this world, you can collapse them down by making them hold on to things. And then I wonder, how many people have turned to hard drugs because of your operating? Now, again, that's getting a little bit more dangerous now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some people have gone through situations because you've deliberately done it because they had potential to lift the empire up.
Mm.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And that's probably what it all boils down to, because, when you start making impact like that, you take the businesses away from them. Why should you be allowed that? Now, it's funny, on the bins through the town cemetery that's here, what did it say? What was it? Go to unoccupied land. Go to what was it? Do you remember it? It was right on the bin. Interesting. Little message there.
Yeah, unoccupied. Oh, yeah, something like that.
Try going to unoccupied land. Isn't that what it said?
Something like that.
A weird bit of graffiti to put on there, isn't it? Seemed too strange. That's interesting. Perhaps you lot should have thought about that before you tried stealing the land off of the people and promising back jack shit, as far as I'm concerned. No, this is what real power is. This. And what it does is it ensures that when you get a few of these people, well, they already send a quiet message to the ones that want to pipe their heads up next time, don't they? You will be respectful. That's how you teach respect. It's not rocket science, is it? Why should you support that as a taxpayer? Why should you support that? And you're paying even more tax in council tax to what? Rectify all of this crap? For the very problems that them letting go of the social housing in the first place. And then Saffron say the rich are always picking on our lot? Wait, what? The rich? You mean the decent people in this area? They seem to have it shoved in their face by these corporations that are going to be there to do good for them, are they? And you've got your little proxy governments that you want to get in, that keep the people exactly where they are, living exactly the same way, where you lot want to turn fucking blind eyes to all of this sort of shit and allow it to keep on repeating through generation after generation. And there has been no change since I was a little lad. Having neighbours come out, threaten to kill you and do all sorts of shit. Fucking polluted houses and everything else. And once again, Saffron, I'm going to call you out, Council 2. God, you're weak. And why should we keep councils going when all we really are doing is giving them a council tax to create another business to then give it to irresponsible people while tell you that you have to sit here in silence and suffer this shit because we're training you because we don't give power out recklessly to people. If only this was actually happening around the world where they were actually strengthening people up. Now, I believe that there are some good people out there that are utilizing these situations to create better change in society for everybody. Don't get me wrong, and sometimes they get their fingers bitten because you can't see who's who. But slowly but surely, record it all. Record absolutely everything. From the moment of encounter, all the way through to every seed that you drop. Absolutely everything that you walk through. And then we start to create new... Because right now, if we stay here and don't go to space, this is it. What are they going to do? Own fucking space. You see, they got people over an advantage here because it's land that they've taken.
Yeah.
They took this back a very long time ago. If you follow British history, it was taken from the people and then it was given to the gentry. If not, they would have murdered your king. That's how it went. And that type of death situation would make anybody, anywhere, do the exact same thing. And these are the type of bullies that, you know, we're up against. Now, had the royal family had that interpretation to do that sort of thing to the people, or did they have better plans for it? Now that, we don't know. But yet, these might tell a story that keeps them lower than they ought to be. That's the difference. And there again, at the moment, it's funny how the royal family have got distractions quite a bit, haven't they? They've got to go and clean up this, and this, and then go and clean up that, and that.
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? Again, distraction. The Diana situation is weird to me. That's a strange thing right there. That's a pattern and a half, isn't it? Again, accident. What, like our brakes?
Yeah.
What, like this? This is luck, accidental, unlucky, or luck? Serious. After this long, with this much tax being thrown into a council, since I was a little lad, that's almost, what, more than 30 years, give or take? Maybe not. Could be. 30 years of that much tax going into antisocial behaviour, and what have they solved? Nothing. And then they've give that illusionary power after 30 years of payments over to Saffron. You mean the same ones that can't actually do anything about the conditions? Most of these council houses that have been given over, what do they do about repairs? They take the absolute piss out of people. And no doubt if they've rigged it, and they have rigged it, they will then go off and sell these on to who? Working class? Patch it over, you know, just patch over all of these damaged areas, and then anyone want to buy a new house? Cash cows, right? The cycle continues, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And these individuals have never taken responsibility for anything that they have ever done. So no, they will make you hold a lot of stuff, and they will distort. This way forwards is what brings real change. The next way, which then takes you to space, is about real estate. Think about that. You get to build a habitat module. You get to do a public service as you live. You go and collect certain resources, you play around with robotics and everything else. The more you talk about this, the more the explosions come. You just keep feeding my data stream. Right underneath your fucking noses. That's brilliant, that is, isn't it? Now, whether you've used them directly or indirectly, the fact that you said very loudly here, the rich are always picking on our lot, has already told them that they're okay. It's given them a green light.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly murmured, was it? And then these individuals believe that they've got more power.
Yeah.
It's an illusion, but still, they
Yeah,
believe that
yeah.
they've got more power.
That someone is picking on them and they can do whatever they want.
And then, if this stops people from inventing and everything else, it's lucky, really, that the one side of it, they kept the gold, right? If this was put into a decent, you then be able to build a house as a module family house. It will be incredibly cheap from bills. Come on, this is a corporation minefield, this is. Now, a big boiler. We're going to scrap the cap on energy and la-di-da-di-da. Oh yeah, what's that going to achieve? What does that look like for people? Do you want to draw me a little bar chart? Because that's probably, you're pretty good at doing that, aren't you? What's that going to achieve exactly? What is that achieving? You're going to fix the councils. How? Sorry, I'm already on it. Don't worry. You're going to fix it because it's all broken. What? Because every asset that they build, they give away to irresponsible people.
Yeah.
No vetting.
Everyone says the same.
And I would
Then nothing.
reformulate the structure of how you get into politics as well. I really would. I would restructure that. Because by and large, the Russian way is actually quite a good way. Don't get me wrong, they have quite a impenetrable system.
Yeah.
I've had a look at it, only on the surface layer. It's quite rotary, it's interesting. We need a stronger version of that. Because we never thought, back in the day, none of our ancestors really did think that businesses were going to be getting this much money. And when they hold on to a larger amount of money, it draws out opportunity and it stops opportunities. You are never going to have an opportunity because you're going to have to work in their companies because they're holding it. We never thought it would get this way.
Yeah.
This creates a massive problem now. That's not an even, equal society based in equality and everyone's got an opportunity. That is not what we set out to build. But there is a new way. A new way that gives us all a piece of something. A new way. Well insulated, doesn't need that much energy to heat it. Low energy maintenance, therefore low pollution. That's great. It gives us 4 seasons worth of growth. If it's built in this type of environment correctly, it gives new architecture. Keep it, build it, learn a skill, master it. You can either learn off of other people and sure, their skill, you might want to apply it to your module. That's absolutely great. But just by you living and existing, you may be taking resources from over here, but you're going to be expanding. What you're going to be doing is stopping people from reaching extinction. These are not going to stop you from reaching extinction. They're going to stop themselves from reaching extinction. They're going to start wars and stop themselves from being harmed in all of that by sending all of us. That's the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what these do. It needs protecting in a better way. Much more better way, to be honest. This is terrible that you can infiltrate this in so many different ways. And the more I look, the more it looks like it has been infiltrated. Because money can pay people to do some very strange things, can't it? Power. Can you build your own intelligence agency? You can, can't you? Yeah, you can. Can you use that intelligence agency to infiltrate intelligence agencies? Yes, you can. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, you can. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting way. Now, does that cause problems?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can also manipulate people's perception with it as well, because you can buy papers, can't you? You can make your own at that ratio, can't you? Then who's controlling the narrative? And if a lot of their papers and are certainly over here and over there and perhaps on media outlets as well, what does that do? Can you buy shadow banning? Can you steal people's ideas? Can you feel threatened by people's ideas that are going to create lasting impact and change? Then you might want to collapse it down like Guy Fawkes, really. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then you make a proxy government that does what? Protects who?
Business.
Selfish individuals, not all of them, but most.
Mm-hmm.
These are the same ones that give you the bare ass minimum, and that's because your government set the standard for it.
Yeah.
Without that, what would you be given?
Barely anything.
And even then, they all chariot that they pay the barest ass minimum. Do you think they pay their closest friends that?
No.
It's interesting, isn't it? And we call it social housing. This is anything but social housing. I'm going to show you social housing. You'll watch it. You know, it'll make yours seem like fucking extortionate housing. And we know how much you like to be in people's pockets as well, don't you, Saffron? Service charges and everything else. Forget the past. Oh, no, I'm not going to forget it. I'm going to eliminate it so no one else has to go through that ever again. Guaranteed. There's a difference there, isn't there? We're going to do own space. Keep your land. You're going to do own space. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, that's where we're at, and that's where we'll continue to go.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
A new way, and that's what you fear. Why? Well, keeps them complacent. And if this business is doing it and they're affecting your home, your life, creating all of that disruption for you, creating that constant chaos, thinking that, oh, he's going to have to draw the line between where he's going to put his energy. Man, I've been putting my energy all over the fucking place. Great, innit? I've still got tons left in the tank. That's interesting. Dropping in little seeds. What was it? It's the government. Sure. Of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the government are going to be this fucking stupid, aren't they? Yeah. Fucking right, yeah. No, I don't think it is. I think there are many good men and women in there. I think there are a few that are not great. You see, it's an interesting thing. If you head an intelligence agency, where do you come from?
Yeah. Well,
That's the thing, isn't it? It only takes a few to get in there, and then if they climb up the intelligence agency, they can also hire in a few more, can't they?
mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, this is just the way it is. You can get in shadowy groups inside those. Pop them in. And before you know it, they're running around after fucking businesses and everything else, and perhaps really don't want to.
Yeah.
But no, I believe that there are good people out there, but they are probably going through the same shit that perhaps you're going through, but in a different aspect. Maybe they're killing your pets, maybe they're going worse, maybe they're going for your kids, maybe they're going for more stuff. Just anything to create heartbreak in your life, to try and keep you distracted. It's all it is, distraction tactic. No, I think it's more empowering that people learn how to fend for themselves, and what else could be done with this money? Well, it could go into a pot that feeds into this. And there you are. It only takes a few to walk like that. Why? Because then integrity becomes clear. And what do people do? They start putting people in with integrity, and then the fake ones, well, just gotta stick out like sore thumbs, really, don't they? Rather than hearing the word no a lot, you start hearing the word yes a lot. That's what it is. If it's possible and it supports the cause, yes. It's how you create opportunity for people that would have often than not sent their lives worth for servitude inside a shop that or business that couldn't really give a shit about them, giving themselves the bonuses. And then holding up on all this money. What's that turn into? And then want to stick in water company, big charge here. And I want to stick in electric company, big fucking charge there. And I want to stick in a gas company, there's a fucking extortionate charge there. It's all social, everything's social but the price. Then the rent's going up, but we still call it social housing. Why? They want you to hate it. They want you to hate socialism because this change impact is socialism. Think about it, space is socialism. Either way you shake a stick at it, the next phase is socialism. You're gonna square with that one way or another. That's what it is. And social platforms actually worked, really did, really well when they've got the right hands. But these fascists don't want it that way. They want it all about them and their little rich group. A means to an end, they'll use people to their advantage. Money has this impact, unfortunately, that's the way it is. So yeah. Oh my god, he's breaking. Yeah. So there you are. So yeah, the truth be told, and then it's a minefield to try and weed these individuals out, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, this has happened throughout the ages, so it's very common. Take this, take that, take religion, take this, take that, take this, take this, take this, take this, take this. No, you can't have it. Why? Because it's ours now. So yeah, we are seeing a disruption in shops and stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, means to an end. Sooner or later, that money will have to be spent. Go over to a new currency, obsolete it. You can hold on to all of that as much as you want. It means nothing. Bits of paper. It doesn't become a job, it becomes a way of life. That actually serves a purpose for the next generation, because anything that you've collected, whether that's done through remote control robotics or whatever else rather than distraction tactics, not every business is like this. Please don't get me wrong. There are a few good ones in there. Again, I'm going to say few. That actually have a heart. But by and large, if it wasn't for your government, would you have hospitals?
No.
Would you have had dentists? No. Would you have a safety net when these ones chuck you out and find you replaceable?
No.
Would you have had houses?
No. Nothing like.
You wouldn't.
No.
So, and the lacking of land, too many people, real estate is space. There it is. How do you control that? You don't. Does a House of Commons still exist in space? Yes. Common people that clop together. It can then make more Houses of Commons, which it does, and this can expand. You need to be able to keep that structure in alignment. Doesn't mean that it meets your obsolescence, but these ones, unfortunately, fortunately, it's your obsolescence. That main structure that goes around, keeping it together. AI incorporated, that's also very good. And when you die, rather than leaving a debt, this bullshit debt, rather than leaving that behind, what are you leaving behind? Value. Anything that you collected, anything that you built, whether failed or not, can it be melted down and made into something else? The answer is yes. You didn't create a big debt. What you started leaving was a debt, but probably in the plus. You started leaving profit behind. What's the profit? You build a farm and your great-great-great-granddad built it. They're leaving you with oxygen, food, habitation. And you better the system, better the system. Why? Don't need to ask anybody. Just go and do it. Whatever makes it in your module has a right to be shared with anybody else that is willing to take that.
Yeah.
Actually opens up a market for more things.
Mm-hmm.
Better food. You can trade your food. The overall structure needs to be held together. And then there's direction. Some people want to go in a different direction. That's awesome. Fucking right. You should build one of these over there. Not everyone is going to be the same. Some want to go off in this direction. Some want to go off in that direction. There's more than that. More the merrier. Expand what you are. So that when you do come back together, holy shit, that's a hell of a system.
Mm-hmm.
Strength. And the beauty of it to see it. Shape it how you want. Do you need planning permission? No, you just need the will to do it. Eventually start building a machine that's capable of taking in anything, throw away anything, and just print whatever you want. It's got loads in reserve, but you don't want to lose your resources. That's a better way to live, not this. It prints it out, whatever you want, from modules to phones to pads to whatever. Earpieces, Jesus Christ, clothes, cloths, cloths, dishcloths, whatever it may be. Yes, if you do that, finish your plate, throw it in, it'll recycle it all and make you another one. There you are. That's the difference. It's a different way of life and it's more exciting. This is the old, dumb, prehistoric, ancient, failed. There you are. So transitioning from one to another, I think it's beneficial all around. We see a reduction in mental health, less of a burden on doctors. Still have need of doctors, yes. Dentists, going to have a need for it, but if we lose teeth and evolve in that way, and we lose bone structure, something else will take its place, don't get me wrong. After all, a rhino's horn is made of hair. That's interesting, isn't it? Could you imagine that? Teeth as sharp as that. Anyway, that's a... as soon as you lose a piece, evolution just waiting to begin its new journey with you. All of it, nature, everything. That's what you're leaving behind. Habitat. At the moment, we talk about, oh my God, these will have you believe that debt is really bad. These arseholes couldn't give a shit. Debt, what, that gets wiped when you're dead? But what about your impact that you left behind? Does that remain? What about your carbon footprint? What about your landfill? Does that get left behind?
Yeah.
Does that methane get left behind?
Yeah.
So whilst we're focusing on their debt, stops you looking at that debt. And then we'll build you more houses, but we'll cut down more fucking trees. Okay, do you know what? We also need to eat as well. How are you going to... This way. Shing, shing, shing. Begins to deal with those situations all in one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So much food that we reach abundance. Never again will we see poverty again on a planet. Never again. And even if just attempting to build this stuff... And you know what? It would actually look really beautiful to see a British rocket take off and land again on a different body with the emblem, with the unicorn and lion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And loads of hands around that as well to symbolise that there were loads of hands come together to make that happen. Loads of minds, hands, and everything else. From the people that turned bolts all the way. That symbology there, very nice. It would be nice to see that. I keep visualizing that. I like that. If I don't know what you would call it, emblem, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the one that's on the... I showed you it, didn't I? That when I was a kid, we saw that on the fireplace because it's even still there today. That the symbology there, that captivate. I like that symbol a lot, and someone put it into some iron, which is impressive. To be able to see that. And feel proud of that, and that becomes the first step for us. Next step, next one, and to build the modules. And these start taking landfall first. Oh, these work here. Oh my God, we can block these up on top of one another. They're flood proof, they're completely safe, they're soundproof. That's a good thing to have in it. I'm not on about overly deliberate disrespect just to cause a reaction, perhaps. Or to cause an inconvenience to everybody else because people might be a little bit bystander effect, not to say anything about it. How do you say something about it when the system doesn't work? There's no point, is there? There's no point saying something about it. But building modules that were built in this sort of instant, you know, the lessons are going to need to be learned how to be respectful of that, because one thing you do could shatter something. It's fragile, it's gentle, and we need the right sort of behavior to align with that as well. We're going to need people to be able to deal with their differences and have the freedom to move whenever they want to when things get too much, because you know what? I'm sure. Do you get what I mean? If this place stays empty, then it punishes those individuals, doesn't it? Until they fix the problem.
Yeah.
There you are. You might have this many houses, but no good if no one's in them, really, is it? Right, let's leave that one there and navigate on to another.
Yeah.
Good day, though. It's
Yeah.
been a very good
Yeah.
sort of week, so.
That is a nice video.